Well, I just received the dreaded email that all Game Pass subscribers are inevitably going to get. It might blindside you, creep up on you like a creepy uncle at a family barbecue. Big old price increase coming to Game Pass, 33% since the inception of the service and an 18% just this year. And moreover than that, there is now 5 tiers of Game Pass, one of which is only for brand new customers, and I don't advise any gamer with a pulse gets because it completely negates the main purpose of Game Pass. Nobody is purchasing Game Pass for the back library of games like the Halo collection or the Gears of War collection. I'll explain why in a little bit, but it's not the most cost-effective way to use Game Pass. And in this video, I'm going to break down what has happened to Game Pass, because this is a subscription service that I've been covering for 5 years. And while the library tends to get larger, the price increases have been substantial as well. And the way that Microsoft is going about the rollout of these price increases is horrendous. Let's get it. To structure this video so I'm not bouncing around all over the place, there is going to be timestamps or chapters reflected in the description of the video. I want to start with what exactly has happened, the summary, the bluff. And that is quite simple. It is the fact that Game Pass, the Xbox subscription service, the Netflix of gaming, if you will. Nobody calls it that. It's nothing like Netflix of gaming. I don't even know why I said that. Thank you.
Thank you. Somebody hands you a bottle of clean water and you drink it.
But the Xbox subscription service, which has generally been lauded in the gaming community as being a sheer value, an almost must-have subscription for the Xbox console for its sheer value factor. However, this is the second substantial price increase we've seen. Hold on, there's a train going by like the one we ran on your sister the other day. You don't hear them very often. There is a train yard a few miles away, but they do seem to schedule their logistics around my YouTube videos. So they're always a chugga when I'm trying to taka. It's fucking bullshit. And what is also bullshit is the price increases. And I will say that there has been, just economically here in North America, the United States, there has been more inflation over the last 3 years. These companies are absolutely taking it to their advantage, especially these subscription-based platforms. They're all claiming it's inflation and they still need to remain profitable, but they are gouging their customers with a shiv in the back and a finger in your crack that you didn't ask for. So these price increases are across the board. So no matter what tier of Game Pass you have, console, PC, or Ultimate, which is the version that I personally do recommend the most, as it does include EA Play, xCloud streaming, cross progression on a lot of titles between the Game Pass launcher, which is an absolute piece of shit and a disgrace to PC launchers, probably why the PC Game Pass launcher is only getting a $2 price increase. But I've got some articles pulled up because we all love numbers. What do the numbers mean, Mason? That Game Pass is getting pretty damn expensive. $20 a month for Ultimate, and there is still no annual option, which usually shaves a few dollars off per month. And I understand not wanting to commit to a subscription service for an entire year up front if it's something you don't use very often and you want to keep an eye on the library to see what titles are arriving. But if that is your sole means for gaming, you get all of your games through Game Pass, then it doesn't really matter. You know you're going to use Game Pass that entire year. It can usually save you a few bucks a month to get the annual package, and there is no option for that. Just like according to this article, there was no options according to analysts rather than to price increase, and there's always options. There's always free will. And I went to college for business administration. I know a little bit about the corporate structure, and I do know that there's options. For example, the CEO, the head honcho in charge of, is it Brisk tea or the canned teas? The Liptons? No, not Liptons. God damn it. Brisk, that delicious, refreshing, ice-cold iced tea you see in convenience stores across America, has not increased its price from 99 cents per can since I was a wee lad. And the owner explained why he ain't gonna finna do that. Also, when we saw the Wii U take a huge hit in sales and wasn't doing very good, the Inceptor, the creator of that product, actually took a personal hit to his wallet in order to make sure that none of his employees were gonna get laid off. So there's always options, but they want to make sure that they get their bacon off the back end of their customers, not their employees, definitely not off the back end of their executives. Well, we're getting deep here. Let's keep it surface level here, Kev. This is the second price increase since the service was rolled out. 18% increase in a year, 33% overall. Little chart here showing us not just inflation. Inflation, yeah, this little arrow would be going like that. These companies are going to ramp that sucker up here like an X Games half pipe. So now the cheapest way to get the bare bones Game Pass experience, not really, no. This is more like Xbox Gold back in the day, being able to play online multiplayer, but Game Pass Core for $10 $10 a month gets you around 40 titles. What a juicy library of games that you have probably played because they've been out for years. Fallout 4, Doom Eternal, and you get your online multiplayer access, which I still find boggling that console platforms require you to pay for. PSN, Xbox Live, NSO, don't be a hoe. So to rip off the band-aid, I don't recommend anybody gets the Game Pass core subscription, considering the entire purpose of a Game Pass subscription is day one releases. It used to be the most cost-effective way to experience these AAA blockbuster bangers from Xbox Studios, which they've been gobbling up massive studios left and right. We're talking about Activision Blizzard, and we're talking about ZeniMax Media Group, which is Bethesda Studios. You're not going to be getting any day one releases. Rather, you're going to be getting a very stripped down library of games that you can purchase disc versions of very inexpensively at Game Pass. But what if you went the digital only route? You've got an Xbox Series S or one of those ridiculous upcoming digital only Series X's that I'm going to make fun of for years to come. You can still purchase these individual games on the Xbox store for relatively inexpensive because they've been out for ages. Now, PC Game Pass is its own beast that is a PC launcher. However, almost all the games, let's see if it mentions it here. The main problem, other than the fact it's not very smooth to browse, which user interface is a big thing for PC launchers. That's why Steam has been very popular for a long time. They've been progressively becoming a very clean user interface. In fact, they have their own operating system. It's called SteamOS. When you turn on a Steam Deck, it's what's staring you in the face. And the fact is, the Game Pass launcher isn't very smooth or pleasurable to browse, and several of the games, about a third that you're going to click on, require you to launch another launcher, EA Play, and then a lot of times those two don't communicate very well, so EA Play is waiting to get confirmed that you do have an active Game Pass subscription to install an EA Play game. Furthermore than that, there's no mod support for any of these games because it's different core PC game files. It's not like Steam or GOG or Epic or any of the other launchers. It's more of an Xbox game port to PC. Almost all the games are locked to 120 frames per second, regardless of your monitor's refresh rate, which is ridiculous. A lot of games that have ultra-wide support normally do not on the Game Pass version, and a lot of settings, graphical settings, are missing in certain games to where it's more like a console version, performance or fidelity, and you don't have rows of graphical tweaks. I have to add this in. But apparently my webcam's off. That's fine. We'll just completely hide the overlay. But what a slap in the face of disrespect to the Battlefield series that no longer is Battlefield 2 or Battlefield Bad Company, the OG, available through EA Play or the Game Pass launcher. Also, something else to point out is that you don't have all the console games available here in the PC launcher. It's like 90% of them. But the pros, because there is one, is the fact that you do have a pretty juicy library of about 400 games. I don't know if that's including collections or trilogies. A lot of these Game Pass placards, you click on them and you're like, ooh, well, it's actually 3 games in one. Now, you do get that day one launch date support, which it's Game Pass. That's kind of what you're subscribed for. And you do get EA Play, which is another large library. Keep in mind, like I said, it doesn't communicate well with the Game Pass launcher itself. And out of all the launchers I've tried on PC, which is like 5 or 6 of them, PC Game Pass has been really shitty for me. But if you've got an extra $240 sitting around burning a hole in your tuchus, then you can go ahead and subscribe for Game Pass Ultimate, $20 a month. That's going to get you the full regalia, the full library of over 500 titles, and this does include EA Play, xCloud, cloud streaming, cross progression on PC and console for a lot of games, your online multiplayer access, and to be perfectly bluntly honest, the little tour showcase I did of Game Pass about 3.5 years ago still stands up very well because a lot of the core features are still the same. The way you browse and install games has not changed, but what has and will continue is the price, as it's going to increase substantially. As it stands now, core I just simply don't recommend because you're not getting the day one releases, and all the titles that are there, which is only about 40, you can pick up very inexpensively, whether it's disc-based, physical, or a soft copy from the Xbox store. So that really leaves the recommendation that if you have both platforms, the Xbox and the PC, and you're going to be playing more than 2 or 3 titles from the Game Pass library per year, then it's still cost-effective to have an ultimate subscription. However, if you were only planning on playing 2 or 3 major release titles this year, maybe you're waiting for a sports game, a racing game, and an action game or something, that's 70, 140, oh god, never been good at math. What's the one after that? 210. That's just the $10 cheaper than going with the Game Pass Ultimate subscription. So if you're going to play about 3 AAA titles 3 AAA titles a year or more, it does make sense to have Game Pass Ultimate, but Jesus, $20 a month? That is more expensive than any of my TV subscription services, Hulu, Netflix, Max, Suck a Peacock, any of them, which are usually around 17 or 18 bucks, and that's if you've got the 4K multiple device big dick package, but holy crap. And the last little sentiment I want to cover, this was mentioned by one of the gaming journalists that God knows whatever platform I was reading the article on, IGN or Kotaku or one of those sleazy sleazewads, and they did bring up a very valid point, and that is the fact that Microsoft has never handled these price increases. I say never, there's only been 2 of them, but they do not handle these price increases of Game Pass well because they don't announce them well in advance so people can mentally prepare, hey, I'm going to be paying an extra $3 a month for the subscription service. What they do is they wait until the absolute last minute, but it gets leaked to the gaming community regardless through journalistic platforms and YouTubers and streamers. So what happens is it drums up a bunch of confusion because there's haphazard information fucking floating around. Rather than Microsoft just making an official statement saying, boom, here's the price tiers, they leave it to the chaos of the internet. And also, shortly after the acquisition of, well, it was actually in the middle of the acquisition because it took a long time, well over a year, which gave content creators like moi tons of ammunition, tons of content for their channel because there were so many steps and roadblocks along the way. UK regulators and then that band of 10 disgruntled gamers trying to shuck and jive the acquisition, which I said almost along the entire journey. Actually, I think it was consistently throughout the entire journey. This is going to happen. This deal is going to go through. And, you know, granted, I didn't really know that, but I felt like I knew it down here, and it did. So that was cool to be able to say I was right about that. But during that acquisition, Xbox made a statement, I do believe it was Phil Spencer, or at least one of the higher ups over there, saying that there would be no price increases to the Xbox subscription service due to the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Here we are. Now, granted, this could be unrelated to the acquisition. Keep in mind, Microsoft paid more to AB than Disney did to George Lucas to buy the Star Wars franchise and rights. That's the biggest acquisition in video game history. Obviously, Microsoft is spending a ton of money and they want to make that back. They want to stay profitable, so they're going to increase their prices. So I thought it was stupid for them to even make a statement saying, we're not going to increase prices, because they know goddamn well they are. And I guess the statement was that it's not going to be related to the acquisition of new studios, but now these price increases are absolutely because of that great showcase we just saw, which is being lauded by almost everyone as a killer showcase, all these cool games coming to the Xbox platform. But then a month later, we're seeing news that there's a 33% price increase to the Game Pass subscription service. And unfortunately, it does seem like all of these companies, gaming and otherwise, are moving towards subscription service models, which means in the future, we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. That was a really negative note to leave the video on, but it's like a period at the end of the sentence. Let me leave it on a happier note than that, like something to spark up, to brighten up your day here. Even when it rains, you get a free car wash. Huh? When life pisses on your leg, wring out your jeans, add some Splenda, and open a lemonade stand or something. I don't know. I'm trying to put a happy twist on a otherwise extremely bitter lemon of a topic that we're sucking on here. Drop in the comment section below what you think of these Game Pass price increases, and I will see you Stallions and Stallionettes tomorrow. Peace. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers, so this information will reach and assist them as well. Much like the back of the TV, I've got plugs for all of my socials down there in the description below. And your wallet will greatly thank you if you check the description, because there are exclusive discounts on a ton of products, including controllers, KontrolFreeks, keyboards, mouse pads, clothes, and energy drinks. And keep in mind that you, the viewer, keep this channel running. The more Stallions and Stallionettes trotting around the stable, the better, so mollywop that subscribe button like it owes you money, and we'll have the same amount of fun tomorrow.